Hello Year 9, hope you're all well. This lesson, what I would like you to do is an artist research and an artist copy. So you need to do both of these in this lesson. So your lesson is on Durer, and he is basically a German artist. So we're going to be looking at him, and you're going to be creating an artist research page and an artist copy based on him. Okay, so go on to the next slide and we'll get on with the lesson. So your do now activity, something similar to what you've done before, but they're different artists. So choose one of the pieces of artwork on the right to describe below. Use the sentence starters to help you. Aim to write a whole paragraph, so 6 sentences really, minimum. I've put some sentence starters down there on the left. So you need to choose one of these artists on the right. You've got Samantha French, artist unknown here. So this is an unknown artist, probably because they're a graffiti artist. And Andy Warhol, which is the one at the bottom. Okay, so you give yourself about 5-10 minutes to answer and write a nice paragraph on one of those art pieces. So just to give you an answer, what I chose, mine's a very basic answer, but just to give you an idea, I chose the top one, Samantha French. So the artwork I'm most influenced by is Samantha French. I'm influenced by French the most because I'm intrigued by the fact that there must be a deeper meaning behind the art piece. In this piece of work, I find the shapes and forms to depend on the light source. The artist has subtly broken up the piece into sections to create a graphical effect. The colour and tone of the work is realism, so it's very realistic looking. The surface and texture looks like it could be a painting or even done on a computer. I like this artwork because it's an intriguing concept. It makes the audience, such as myself, want to find out more about the art piece and why the artist created it and that type of thing. So hopefully you got something similar. Hopefully you've written a nice paragraph about the artwork that you've chosen. Okay, go on to the next slide. So your learning objective for today is to learn about famous artist Durer and how to create an artist research page and artist copy. We've already done something similar to this virtually before half term, and obviously you've created artist researches for a lot of homeworks in year 9, year 8, year 7 before. So you should be very familiar with this. To learn how to write about an artist and evidence this, I've attached the writing frame again, so that's there to help you. Learning outcomes to research. To create a research page on the artist Durer and to create an artist copy of the artist Durer in a media of your choice. So you're going to do a copy of the hands, okay? So remember last lesson we were looking at hands. This lesson you're just going to finish off kind of the same style looking at hands as well, okay? So just to give you a little bit of information on Durer, he was regarded as the greatest German artist. His work includes altarpieces, portraits and self-portraits, engravings and woodcuts. Durer improved the printing techniques of the time and expanded the subject matter that they depicted. Instead of the tradition of making engravings to order, he kept stocks of his work, selling many at home on his travels to the Netherlands and beyond. The artist also produced many famous engravings. So it was very regimented artwork before, whereas he kind of opened it up a little bit more kind of different types of design, different styles. And there was more variety that people could choose from. So, in terms of back in those days, he was quite a big change. He kind of in art, so he made, he really turned it around and really kind of inspired new artists, I would say. Okay, go on to the next slide. So this is one of his most famous works, this hands here. So I'm going to talk to you about that in a sec, but it relates well to what we're doing, so that's why I want you to do an artist copy of it. So Praying Hands by Durer is a famous ink and pencil drawing created in the early 14th century. The drawing is on blue coloured paper that the artist made himself. Praying Hands is part of a series of sketches that Durer drew for an altarpiece. The drawing shows the hands of a man praying with his body out of view on the right. The sleeves of the man are folded and noticeable in the painting. The paper was made by the artist himself and portrays blue and green tones. Praying Hands is a sketch. So the work was originally requested by Jacob Heller and is named after him. Although there are many rumours and stories about Durer using his brother's hands as a reference in the man's hands suffering with some infliction, it is much more likely that Durer modelled the hands after his own. The same hands can be observed in some of his other works. So it's kind of done. He made this paper himself, the bluish paper. Imagine that, having to make your own paper. You're always asking me for sugar paper and wasting it. Imagine having to make your own, you probably won't waste it then. So that's quite really cool, and you can see that he's added in like little white bits, so presumably he's added in little bits of chalk and things like that in there as well. So really nice art piece, and this is what I want you to do a copy of. Obviously I don't expect you to have blue paper at home or make your own blue paper, but it is something that, you know, the drawing itself you can try and recreate with the pencil and the biro potentially. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide. So artist research page, this is what I want you to try and create with a little bit more writing. So the artist research page, this should contain the following. So use the writing frame attached in class charts to help you. The name of the artist, Durer, there you go, we've got a title at the top. Let me just get my pointer again, so that will help me. So title, name of the artist, 6 to 8 images of their work. To be honest with you, I don't mind if you just print off the one that you're actually doing. It might be nice to have a couple of others just to give you an idea of, you know, what other stuff he's done as well. Information about them, their background, their practice. I've given you a lot of information already. You could probably summarise that a little bit more. You might want to find some other interesting facts to put on there. I don't want reams and reams of writing. I just want you to pick out the few basics and a little bit about why you like it, or you know what you don't like about it. Information about them, their background, analyze their work, their style, how did they create it, and answer a few more of these questions. Okay, so I don't want, can you see on this example here, so take this page just for example, we've got the title, we've got the image, we've got a small paragraph. I would like a little bit more writing than this, but I have got a beautiful artist copy here, absolutely stunning. Okay, that's what I want. If you want to take it a step further and do another drawing like this, slightly larger, then fine, go for it, that'd be brilliant. Okay, you are aiming for that GCSE level now, and that's the type of thing that I want to see. Okay, so hopefully that should, you know, if you were just aiming for this one A3 page, you should get that done. So, you know, a bit of writing, outline of the hands, a bit of tonal shading. You might need to spend a little bit of time just sticking it in after, but really that's not much to ask for. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide quickly. So just to remind you about the artist copy, I'm just going to read through this. The sketch should be at least A5 size, which is about the size of your hand. Think about taking your time, sketching the outline carefully and accurately. Use the grid technique, which you learned last lesson, to draw proportions accurately. Work in tonal shading, observing Durer's work carefully to be able to create a successful copy of his work. You might want to stick doing the copy in pencil, or you might want to try out using another media. I don't mind if you want to have a go at doing it in sort of chalk or charcoal, biro. If you want to play around with the medias, that's absolutely fine, yeah? Present your work neatly, okay? I'm going to the next slide. So when you have finished, I want you to upload your artist research page and copy onto class charts. Look out for some achievement points and feedback from me. And just a quick thank you to say well done for all your efforts in today's lesson. Keep up the good work. Some fantastic work coming in from last lesson, so well done. Keep that coming, and I will speak to you all very soon.